made almost $1,000 today, and I more than made back all the losses I took over the past 2 weeks. Brought my P&L basically to an all-time high. I'm gonna go over the trades I took, but more importantly, I'm gonna go over how I'm able to go on pretty big losing streaks and somehow always come back on top. 2 days ago, I took 5 losing trades in a row. I'm not gonna talk about those, but it was nice to catch a big win today. The first trade was on NASDAQ, and I went long for a very simple reason. I drew the Fibonacci from this swing low to this swing high, and I'm just going to drag it out so you can see where it touches the golden pocket. Right there, you can see this is the golden pocket, 61.8% to 66%. I learned this from Big Gains Club and perfectly tapped into it. Strong rejection. I was thinking about entering here. I don't know what the heck that was. Someone hacking me, maybe? Twice in a row, huh? Let me know in the comments if that means someone's hacking me, because it's happened a couple times before. Anyways, I was thinking about entering here on this candle close, on this candle as well, once this inverse fair value gap candle like confirmed, because you have this fair value gap and this fair value gap, and that's an inverse fair value gap. The only thing was I saw as this candle closed, I was like, okay, the high is 133. I'd have to, at least at a minimum, risk the candle's low, which is 86. So 133 minus 86, 47 points. And for micro contracts, it's $2 per point. So that means it would be a $94 stop loss with just one micro, which is way too large. It was pretty scary to enter, but it looked strong. And as this candle is pushing up, I entered, just risking this candle's low. And I can show you the entries. It looks kind of sloppy just because it's all so close together. You can see I entered 2 at 150, which is right there. And then I added one kind of near the top of this candle. It was honestly kind of a bad ad because I moved my stop from this low to this low. And, there was still a chance at this point. Market could have reversed easily, stopped me out. And that would have really sucked because I would have missed this big $600 gain. And luckily, it went in my direction. And once it started pushing up again, I added one more. Sold 2 near the highs, sold 1 at 79, which 79 I believe was just the golden pocket of this range. Yeah, it was the high end of the golden pocket. So it was a potential area where price could reject, so I sold there. And then I did kind of get scared. I was like, we still kind of look bearish. So once it was dipping, I just sold. So yeah, it was a golden pocket. On not to mention 15-minute fair value gap. You can see this is kind of the halfway point of it. Liquidity sweep of these lows. Also on ES, it's a much cleaner liquidity sweep. You can see there. I did want to leave a runner to hit the new week opening gap, which that would have been an additional like $300 gain. But again, I just got kind of scared. But once I saw NASDAQ pushing up, it was basically confirming it was strong. I basically risked the stop loss that I would have taken on that last NASDAQ micro to enter 2 micros on ES, and I risked this candle's low, and I sold here. That was another like $200, I believe. Entered here, sold here. Did eventually hit the new week opening gap, but I mean, that was a pretty big move. Not my typical type of trade. So I just wanted to get out. And later in the day, I was honestly looking for shorts because NASDAQ did not break this high a day. You can see here. But if I show you ES, which is just the S&P 500 futures, it did break the high a day. And it was also tapping the bottom of the new week opening gap. This would have been a liquidity sweep. And I was waiting for a strong candle to close down to enter short. That didn't happen. And once this candle pushed up and NASDAQ also pushed up, there's no longer divergence. It kind of disproved that short idea, meaning that there's a high chance that longs were still good, that the strength was going to continue. I saw there was no high time frame fair value gaps. You can see on the 15-minute, there's no fair value gaps there. On the 1 hour, there's no fair value gaps here. There's nothing on the 4 hour, meaning that there's less resistance for us to run up higher. And considering the new week opening gap is above us, that also acts as like a magnet or drawn liquidity. So I just entered 2, and then I entered one more, I think, as this candle is pushing. And I risked this candle's low, which is like $100, because this isn't my typical trade. My typical trade is that first NASDAQ trade. This one was more so just going with the trend. But because it wasn't my typical trade, I did use a smaller position size and smaller risk. I moved my stop to break even, I believe, once we made this high for that reason. And then I sold 2 at 53 and then got stopped out on the rest. I sold at 53 just because that was near the swing high. And that was also the point where NASDAQ had already touched the top of its new week opening gap and ES didn't. So it could reverse. But yeah, that was it. It wasn't anything crazy. Honestly, sometimes trading is just about, in my opinion, you keep taking the trades, you keep essentially, this might sound like a bad analogy, but you essentially keep rolling the dice, and eventually one of these days you're going to have a big trading day or a big trending day, which ends up in very big wins. Like, these are the days where your account can grow a lot, which again, I made $950 today, and this is on a 50K Express. So if I want to, I can withdraw half of this, but I'm not going to do that till it gets to 4,000. You can watch my prop firm video if you're wondering why, but it's basically because the other half remaining in the account is your new maximum loss limit. So I'm not going to pretend like I'm consistently profitable, amazing, great trader. Again, sometimes it's just like luck. The market goes in your favor, and by putting in the work, being consistent, having the right mindset, and putting yourself in a place where you can take the trade and you do take the trade, you open yourself up to the opportunity to get lucky and catch a $600 win, $950 day, which I believe that's my biggest trading day. You can see here once I made $1,000, but I also lost 300 that same day. So I think this is my biggest trading day since I joined Big Gains Club and started trading his concepts. The mindset thing I wanted to go over is that basically, look, I'm not an amazing trader. I go on big losing streaks. My win rate's only 37%. But if you look at my losses, they're around $100. Look at him. My average loss is $110. Average win is $290. So, you know, the most I'm ever going to lose, like, there are some outliers here where it's over, like this one's $200. This one is $370. That was early in the uh, progress of me like switching over to this strategy though. So anyways, yeah, this one is $240. Realistically, the most I'm ever going to lose is like $150, whereas my wins, it can be $400, $200, $600, $1,000. So, I allow myself to make big wins to make up for all the small losses, but that's only because I take these small losses. It doesn't affect my confidence as much and my account. Because if all these losses were $200 plus, my account would be maybe even at zero at this point. And I would feel crappy, and that would affect my trading. I might even FOMO more, over leveraged to try and make it back. It definitely does suck going on losing streaks, taking 5 losses in a row, but you just kind of shake it off. You breathe. You realize there's more to life than trading and trying to make money, and you try again. You do your best to trade well, and if you trade well, then the results of it eventually are going to end up in your favor. And that's my belief. And we'll see if it continues to go that way, but I think it will. Shout out to Antonio and Big Gains Club, which, by the way, this is my first day trading without watching the Big Gains Club live stream. Antonio went long. I checked afterwards, and Antonio went long on this candle. I went long on NASDAQ 2 minutes after him. So it's kind of cool to see that I took the same trade as him. He's who I learned from. He's like my mentor, I guess. So, It's cool to see. Thank you for watching.